What's up, everyone, and hope you're having a good day. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about K12 stock and whether the party's over for the online education stocks. So if you like this video, please subscribe and hit the bell notification. This is a relatively new channel, so I could use your support. Hit the like button if you find this video helpful. That said, let's get into it. And a quick overview. K12 is a tech-based online education company. They provide online curriculums, education services, software systems. They're global. They operate online for public schools and private schools. They have virtual and blended programs, which is important moving forward. They provide support services for academically at-risk students, and they sell K-8 online courses directly to families. All right, and so how is K12 different from the other online companies? Most of the other online companies only provide hybrid and enhancements to existing models, but K12, although they also do that, they could serve as a replacement for traditional education entirely. So public schools, some of them are entirely online, and they use K12 for their entire curriculum. So that's how K12 is a little bit different than the other online companies. All right, so in my opinion, there's only really one question to answer as far as K12 goes. It's going to be how much of the online education model sticks around after this crisis is over. I mean, clearly they've had an incredible run. They're up like 70%, I believe, year over year. And obviously, if the crisis never started in the first place, they wouldn't be up over 70% for a year. However, we are where we are, and after this crisis, after the dust settles, we got to figure out how much of this model is going to stick around. Clearly, some of it will. So the management team is going to be speaking actually in a little bit, and I'll incorporate that in this video. And they're going to put a positive spin on everything. They're going to say the trends look great, the future is bright, but it's going to be up to us to figure out how much of it is BS and if this company truly will be growing in the future. And if they will be growing, is now the right time to buy. This summer, K12 has been preparing for an increased demand in their services, and their share price reflects that. If you look at this next slide, it's just up monstrously, especially compared to the S&P. It's just crazy how it's just really exploded since July. There's the Burbio survey that came out this morning that's saying that 52% will be virtually learning, 25% in person, 19% hybrid model preferred, and 4% have no idea what they're doing. So it's August, so they better pretty much get their act together. And that's where we look this fall. So clearly K12 has an increased demand. So we got to figure out, is this demand going to continue or will it tail off a little bit? A quick note about this Burbio survey. They did sample 1,200 out of 13,500 school districts. So it is a fairly large sample. And there's a huge difference between states and counties, but we got to understand, like, things change by the minute sometimes. I know, like, where I live, I've probably gotten 15 emails on the schools. First, it's all online, then it's all in school, then it's a hybrid, then it's back to online. So regardless of what we hear in the conference call today, we have to understand that in 7 days, if there's an outbreak, or in 7 days there's a vaccine, that conference call is completely garbage, doesn't mean anything. So we have to look at the numbers, and we have to look at the general outlook to figure out if now is a good time to buy. And if you're wondering why the stock has done so well this summer, they're doing some really cool things. They have a new partnership with Newsela. So grades 6 to 10, they have access to hundreds of informational texts at 5 different reading levels. They're using AI to figure out and analyze the kids' reading level and automatically adjust their reading resources. They're getting some positive upgrades from Citron. They are hiring a ton of new teachers. So they're doing some really cool stuff. They're redoing their online programming. So they're really gearing up to really impress the communities and the school districts this fall, because really now's their chance. So up to now, you would say, hey, K12 is doing fantastic, had a great summer. The fall looks good. Everybody's going to go online. So why not put some more money in and let it ride? That's a possibility. But for me, there's some serious headwinds we got to talk about first. One of them being that right now it's mandated. So after the mandated online learning ends, will the families want to send their kids back to school? And will the public schools want to continue it? That's really to be determined. I'm also concerned that there could be a study that comes out that says, hey, underprivileged kids are getting left behind and the education gap is widening. That's going to be a serious problem, a serious PR problem as well. One nice thing I do like about K12 is that they're not going to have to deal with the incentive compensation rule, which basically states that if you're marketing for a school and then profiting off of the kids' tuition, that could be an issue with the government. So that was brought up in the spring, and I did mention that with my 2U video. But with K12, it looks like they should be clear from that rule, which is a good thing. So if you're kind of deciding between 2U and K12, that could be one thing to consider. So when I first saw this next article about Congress allocating $70 billion for K12 schools, I immediately put it into my tailwind slide. Then I was like, wait a minute, let me look a little bit closer. I started reading the fine print, and now it's more of a headwind. So if you actually read the article, the majority of the money is going to schools that at least reopen partially, and those schools that are going to be 100% remote online learning are only going to be entitled to a small part of that $70 billion. So clearly there's political pressure with this whole thing. And with this political season just getting started, in my opinion, depends on which candidate is up at any given moment. K12 could be just like a punching bag going up and down versus whoever is up or down in the political season this fall. So obviously that is a huge consideration for me. And very quickly, when I was watching CNBC this morning on the Russian news, how they saved the world, they had a vaccine, I guess most people may have rolled their eyes knowing that their guidelines aren't the same in the United States. But the point being, I wanted to see how K12 share price reacted. And it was really idle. While other stocks like Carnival and Norwegian popped, K12 pretty much stayed the same. So I just wanted to get a sense of how K12 might be reacting this fall to news, either with cases spiking or vaccine news. And the fact that it was idle did tell me something, that it might not be as volatile as we may think. And now I just want to mention that before this whole Rona started, the online learning model did have organic growth. I read that by 2025, it's going to reach $350 billion. Not to mention, we can't forget that companies and people need to go back and learn online to further their education, to learn how to code, whatever they need to do to further their career. So that's important to note. And as you can see, K12 did beat street expectations on earnings and had a very bullish and positive conference call, which to me is no shocker. So those are all good things. But for me, I really need to consider the headwinds, the tailwinds, government, politics, all that has to be considered before putting in more money into this stock. So for me, it's a hold. I do believe that it will trend downwards sometime this fall, and there might be better chances to put your money to work, at least in my opinion. So that concludes this video. I hope you guys found it helpful. If you did, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell notification and hitting the thumbs up. It'd be greatly appreciated. This is a brand new channel and I could use your support. So that being said, I hope you guys have a great evening and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care. Bye.